Welcome back to the end of week 15, and that's going to wrap up our regular season in fantasy football. I appreciate everybody that has stuck around with us all year. And before we kind of dive into it this week, Adam, I just want to kind of talk about a great Hall of Famer, Randy Moss, repping him, um, who, recently has been on the news, coming out and uh, opening up his personal life to everybody that was concerned about his health. And he's a cancer survivor, is what he said. And so thankfully, he's getting the proper treatment and care that he needs and everything. But all the love and support out to Randy and his family. Um, I know you're not too young, but uh, I literally grew up with him. The first couple seasons, 97, 98, were the first few seasons that I remember watching Vikings football as a
Before I
little
was
kid.
born. Yeah.
Yeah, way before. And he was the first round pick for the Vikings in 1998, and he went off. He was just phenomenal, and he literally changed the game, and that's why he's a Hall of Famer. So, very much beloved by uh, Skull Nation and Vikings fans everywhere. Um, so, with that, diving into the last week of the regular season for fantasy for us. Um, Luckily for me, this was not a must win, as I already had the first seed locked up, because coming in, I was 400ths of a point lower in projection, and it was really close of a game. I dropped it 133 to 129. Um, just a couple players didn't have great
Really
games.
close. Yeah,
Yeah, but I
really
mean,
close.
I'm still happy with it. Funny thing is this league and then my main league that I commission,
Hmm.
both 11-4. I won my matchup in that one to make it to 11, dropped this one to make it 4 losses. So um, yeah, both first seeds in each of them. And I guess before diving in the recap, it's funny how sticky playoff contention can be come week 15, because I had what, four out of six teams locked with a playoff position. One of those remaining two completely eliminated, not a chance in hell. And then another one, I had a scenario where it was if you win, you're in. But I also thought I had a chance even if I lost.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
made the mistake of getting too excited during Monday Night Football last night, because the two people I needed to lose that had outscored me with the same record as me both lost. And unfortunately, I went up against a 6-8 team um, that just, like, I put up a lot of points, but
Hmm.
they put up even more points. Like, they decided to have a really great game to keep me out of the playoffs. Otherwise, if I had won, I would have been like the 3 seed or whatever. Um, and I had outscored one of the other teams that was above me enough to where if we both lost, I still jumped over them.
Hmm.
Unfortunately for me, there was 7-7 teams, and I was one of them. Six teams playing for two playoff spots.
Sent
And
me.
this is where I got messed up, was four of the teams were playing each other. So one of those teams was guaranteed a win in two separate matchups. So of course, those are the two teams that got the playoff spots, and I'm out on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had to eat my words there, celebrating. Oh, but I mean, it really comes down to it, just
Yeah.
right to the very, very bitter end. I know we had several people fighting for I believe, 2 playoff spots, correct? For third and
Yeah,
fourth.
yeah, we had let's see here. So Stinky went up against Michael. He was number 4 last week. He was projected at 109 points, and Michael was projected at 88 points, and he lost 75
And
to 78.
and
Michael's not even playing.
Michael came through despite not even bothering to put a roster together,
Yeah,
and he still scored 10 points less than his projected, and
Stinky just bombed. He
he still
bombed
managed to just knock
35 points
Stinky
under.
right out.
Stinky 35 points under his projected, and that's how he
Oh
lost.
man.
Most
Yeah,
wanted
it's
won. I think he was number 5, and he
pretty
won over Jimbo.
yep, pretty
Um,
handily. That wasn't a problem for him. Now I have to face him this week. A
yeah,
little bit nervous for that. However,
not as
you
nervous
know,
as I am with Brentwood, because
and
Brentwood put up
yes,
106. He had a projected of 94, and he put up 163.96 points. Whoa, that is
yeah, like just for
unnerving.
comparison, he was projected at 94. He pretty much scored 164. That's a 70-point difference on the up. And like I'm sitting here looking at your matchup and I'm like, man, I wish I would have, like gotten Brentwood in the first round. And then I'm like, but this is also the dude that like just put up 164 points on their opponent. I think I'm good. I'm thinking I'm good. I'll let you handle them this week. Um,
I'm a little nervous
you
with you and Most Wanted because you're projected under Most Wanted right now.
and
So
I'm trying so hard. This is what gets me. This is where I fail. Is I start paying more attention to the projected points and trying to get the most out of the projected points rather than just calming my mind and going with what works,
mhm.
because what has worked through the whole season is going to continue to work. You're going to have bad games. If it happens, it happens. There's nothing you could do. You can always go back and be like, well, if I played this, if I played that, and whatever. You can't put a team together based on projected points. You got to put a team together based on who you think is going to do the best for you that week
Mhm.
to progress you towards the championship. And that's what I'm trying to maintain my focus on. So even if I'm projected, like 3 points less or whatever this week it is, um, I'm not going to worry about it because, I mean, heck, Brentwood's projected 85 points against your 112.
I'm still
But
nervous.
but like we saw, he could
That's a 70
he
point
could
swing.
double that in a hurry. So
I mean, even I
um,
had like a 30-point swing. Um,
yeah, I mean, you jumped up by almost 30 points. Casey even jumped up by almost 30 points. Um,
Fortunately,
oh,
last time, I think Michael has done huge swings, but last time, it was a couple
yeah,
weeks ago. He did underperform, and I did way overperform. So I was still good on that, but I was still, yeah. As if one thing I've learned is that don't the projected points aren't the end all be all, especially
no,
considered I've had like especially like in the first few weeks of the season, um like I think like week 2, and it was like week 2, like maybe week 3, and maybe even week 4, where there was a couple of weeks in there where I was sure, I was like there ain't no way I'm coming back from this. There ain't no way. I think at one point it was like 6% versus 94%, and I was like, I'm done, I'm out. I'm like, this is the week I'm out. And then it comes back, and it's just like, whoa. um yeah, so projected points, I'm not counting on anything. Um,
now I have a question for you though.
mhm.
So how nervous are you about like Josh Allen, Kyron Williams, like some of these players like dropping off a cliff?
Not really. Josh Allen has been very consistent. Like, I mean, last couple weeks, he has been killing it. I'm not entirely
Well, and
expecting that to happen
that
again.
That's why I'm
because that's
asking, because
50
it's like,
points and 40 points,
oh yeah. Now,
which is
don't get me wrong.
insane.
He's gonna be the MVP this year. He's got that sucker wrapped up on lock. He has gone off
Hmm.
recently. But it's like, is it really sustainable? Now, against New England, yeah, he could put up 40 by halftime on New England and sit the rest of the way. Like, no joke. So, like, yeah, is it possible? Absolutely. And that team is clicking on all cylinders right now. Um, like, just fantasy wise. And of course, like, I have Josh Allen on my other team, so I
Hmm.
have a vested interest in this.
Right.
It's going to be really tough if we win this week, play each other next week, and I'm also playing in the championship. I don't know what I'm going to do, um, but it's the sustainability of like these high performances of being able to put up 130, 150 every single week, because like for me, I'm just waiting for it to just come crashing down like a house of cards,
Well,
you know?
considering
And
the
I'm like,
fact
don't
that
do that in these last 2 weeks, you know? And I'm not talking
considering the
about
fact that it hasn't, it's only been like the last couple of weeks, that it feels like it's more like ramping. It's been ramping up rather
no,
than
I absolutely agree. It's
because
because we had our roller coaster throughout the year, but the last couple weeks it's just been ramping up. But if you know what a roller coaster does, you
it
have
goes
that
down.
big hill
Yeah.
and then it comes straight down. And my concern, and this isn't just specifically with Josh Allen, it's just putting teams together as a whole, because we've seen widespread success from multiple teams overscoring their projected by 20, 30, 40 plus points,
Hmm.
right? For the last couple weeks, we've seen multiple teams. Now, if you're not paying attention, you're not putting a good team together and everything, yeah, your team's not going to do right. But the people that are in the playoffs have been paying attention. They have been putting together a good team, and they have been outscoring their projected by 20, 30, 40 plus points. Oh, man, I don't want, like, I just want to keep going up.
It,
Let
it, it, it'd
let
be it'd be
everything
so
fall
great.
off in week 18,
We
don't
yeah,
do it now, like not when it matters the most.
yeah. I mean, hey, listen, this is my best team. Because like for the last, I mean, for like especially like the last 10 weeks, you've been having people have like player after player either going out on bye or they're getting injured.
Yeah, you're finally getting
This
healthy.
is out of all of the out of like I have nobody on bye, and none of my players are injured or even
Hmm.
questionable. Like
No, you got a
all of
really
my
healthy
players,
roster and everything.
I've got a healthy roster. I've got
Yeah.
my best players that I've got. I mean, obviously, some of the ones that I had that I really liked towards the beginning of the season are just gone. They're not even
Hmm.
playing anymore. But like, I've got Josh Allen and Nico Collins, who are kind of like my two top dogs. Minnesota Vikings. Jonnu Smith has been
Okay.
the tight end for the Dolphins has been coming in clutch in like
Has
the
he?
fourth quarter.
Okay.
Um,
Now,
I think in week 14, like I was looking at it and like he had like 0 points and it
yeah,
was like fourth quarter or whatever, and I'm like, dang, he's just completely. He was my backup tight end,
right.
and he was just
Okay.
like, oh, great. And then I looked at it after the game ended, and it was like 11.9 points, and I was like, whoa, he
Yeah,
just
like,
came
where
in
did that come
clutch
from?
at
Yeah.
the end of that all. And last week, he got me 15 points. So he's been doing good. My kicker is doing phenomenally. Is it Brandon Aubrey?
Hmm.
Yeah, Brandon Aubrey. 9 points week 14, and week 15 he got me 16 points. Minnesota Vikings have been doing me pretty solid.
Yeah.
So and then just like it's just my wide receivers or my running backs are doing usually pretty good.
Right.
If
Now,
not like really overperforming, usually mildly
right.
overperforming.
Now, here's my question for you.
Mhm.
because you forgot a very important player
What player?
on your roster, a Brian Thomas Jr.
Yes.
That
I
dude
pulled him off
has been
27 points.
clutch. And here's my problem. So I have him on my other league, right?
Yeah.
In my other league, my wide receivers, if I can speak correctly, my wide receiver room is Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, Brian Thomas Jr., and Devonta Smith. Now, I really haven't played Brian Thomas Jr. a whole lot this year.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't realize that he was as big of a player as he has been because of the stigma I have for Jacksonville.
Yeah.
He's still seeing double digit targets like every single game. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback, he's still getting force fed the ball. And he's actually coming out on top. If you look at his stats, he's really only like busted maybe like 3 times all season. Otherwise, he's right in the ballpark of his projected, or he booms, and he booms big.
Yeah, I've had him for quite a while. I think
You picked him up early on and everything.
yeah, I've been kind of shuffling him around because
Yeah,
he's done like some, like I'm looking at, like I've been looking around, and like week 10 he was doing it 220. There's been a couple of times where he really, yeah, and then week 9 520,
yep.
week 8. So he's been he has definitely been going around. And yeah, last week I would have definitely benefited if I had Brian Thomas, because 27 points.
Hmm.
I think what I was looking at was, I think I replaced him with Jerry Jeudy, because Jerry Jeudy was looking super good.
Yeah,
Let's see
Judy's
here.
come on a little bit strong,
1490 in the last
recently.
one versus
Yeah,
1260 from Brian Thomas Jr. And then week
but like,
13,
so like
Jeudy had 36 points.
yeah,
And
because he played the Broncos. Yeah, he
mhm,
went just bananas. But the thing is, we try not to chase points and everything. You're trying to
mhm.
look forward and everything instead of make up for what you missed. Um,
But
but
also
like,
like
dude,
paying
like Brian.
attention to like consistency, and how,
Oh
like,
yeah,
do
no,
they
absolutely,
overperform? Do they tend to underperform?
yeah.
And
And
I
like
actually,
that's my problem now. Is I'm sitting here like, you know, like Justin Jefferson's locked. He's a wide
mhm,
receiver one, no questions asked.
yeah.
That's it. I don't have I don't use a wide receiver for my flex position because I went running back heavy this year, and
Mhm.
that has worked out so well for me. Just like in our league where I got Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, and Jonathan Taylor, and I play all three. In my other league, I have three solid running backs as well with um, what was it, James Cook, James Conner. Oh man, who was my fourth one? Anyways, so, or third one. But anyways, like I'm locked in. I got my flex locked up as a running back. I have two solid RB1s and everything. So then it's like, who do I play at wide receiver two? And Cooper Kupp kind of bit me with putting up zeros. He
Yeah.
had one target in the rain against San Francisco, didn't catch anything while Puka Nacua just went off. They're playing the Jets this year, or not this year, but this week. They're playing the Jets this week in New York. The Jets do not give up a whole lot of points to wide receivers and everything. Of course, there are some exceptions and whatnot. I start becoming concerned because Puka Nacua is the clear wide receiver one now and not Cooper Kupp. So Cooper Kupp's like big boomer bust. Devonta Smith seems to be coming on stronger now that after the whole incident with uh, AJ Brown, you know, calling people out in the Eagles organization saying they need to pass more. Um, they answered the bell for at least one game. Um, but then you got Brian Thomas Jr. and he's been solid. He's getting force fed the ball. He's catching it. I'm like, I gotta put BTJ in as wide receiver too, and I'm just hoping I don't have, um,
It's not a bust week.
yeah, I'm hoping I don't like have like buyer's remorse and everything as far as
Yeah.
putting him in. However, Most Wanted has Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson, so if I don't play Cooper Kupp, it's very easy for me to root for Cooper Kupp to put up a goose egg again because that'll help me out. What doesn't
Yeah.
help me out is he also has Justin Jefferson, which I have.
Yeah.
So I might have to eat one there. Oh, but
I switched out Chuba Hubbard for in my flex because he
oh
got
yeah,
me
Chuba
about what
Hubbard.
6 almost 7 points last week.
But he's been solid.
And
Like, dude, Derrick Henry
yeah,
has
he's
been
been Chuba Hubbard.
Derrick.
Like I've been like because a lot of my players that I have, even like the ones on the bench or even the ones that I'm playing, a lot of them are really solid. Like the guys on my bench at this moment, Chuba Hubbard, he's been pretty solid.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard, he's been solid. Darnell
Yep.
Mooney has been solid.
Hmm.
Derek Schultz or Dalton Schultz, he's been my tight end for most of the time, and my tight ends have not really been doing great. So, keeping
Dude, honestly, not
Jonnu
a lot
Smith,
have.
yeah,
Like this year has been a down year for tight ends and everything. When it comes to like fantasy points and scoring. So like last year was huge. This year they took a massive
the
step back.
the two I haven't had much luck with are my kicker and my kicker and tight end. Although Brandon Aubrey, he's been pretty much my kicker for like the entire time,
Yeah, he's
and he's
pretty
been doing
steady.
solid. He's been doing
Yeah.
great. So Cameron Dicker, like he's staying there. Justin Herbert was my backup for when Josh Allen was on bye. I'm just
Hmm.
keeping him around in case Josh Allen gets hurt. And then Dalton Schultz is just kind of my backup tight end. But outside of that, like I've got two running backs and a wide receiver sitting on my bench, and they're all solid. All of the ones that I've got playing and all of the ones I've got on my bench, they're all solid picks. So for me, it's like I don't know which one of these guys are going to underperform this week and which ones are
Hmm.
going to overperform this week because they all have the potential to really overperform. They all have the potential to really underperform. Except for like Nico Collins is my clear
Right. Certain guys are locked in without a
yeah.
doubt. But where
Yeah.
you
He's
start having
I keep him in
questions,
there. Um and especially
when you
ever since I got Nico Collins back, I've been starting to get up some more points because he's been great. But like Minnesota defense, like my defense, kicker, tight end, quarterback, and Nico Collins as my wide receiver. They're all locked in. So then it's just like, okay, who's my wide receiver two? And then just kind of shuffle around my running backs. But I'm feeling good, like because my team I feel like is doing great. A lot of them are doing. I switched out Chuba Hubbard for Brian Thomas Jr. Hopefully, Brian Thomas Jr. Will do a good job, but I don't know. You know, it's always the people on your bench who are going to do the best. So,
try
yeah.
not to overthink it though. Like that's the thing. When you put together a good team, honestly, it almost bites you in the ass because instead of having like a poor bench and everything, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I have to ride with these guys because I got nothing else on my bench. When you're like, oh, but I do have other stuff on my bench. And then you're like, oh, well, what do I think? Like, who's going to do better this week? And you're starting to like tinker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you get in trouble because you tinker, and then at the last second, you switch somebody out that you should have left in, and like it doesn't go the way you want it to, and now you're
Yep.
like, oh my goodness.
I've
So
done that a couple times.
yeah, and it's
But
like
it's
that's
also like it's really
tough.
hard to tell because Brian Thomas Jr. is like he's projected less points than Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
But I'm also not thinking about how many projected points. So if I'm looking at
Right,
max
which is
projected
important, like
points,
we talked about. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, we're
So
not looking to build a projected point. It's who's going to
yeah,
actually come out and perform and hit what, meet or exceed what their projected is and everything. And that's the big thing. It just kind of sucks because it's like up until this point, you're like, yeah, if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. But, I have more games, or, like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. I'm sitting in good playoff position, or, oh, I got a playoff spot locked out. But now everything's on the line for the
hmm
next 2 weeks. Each week is pretty much your season because you lose this week. Yeah, you get to play for third place, but you're playing for third place. You're not playing for that trophy. You're not playing for that championship, for the bragging rights and everything. And with that pressure coming on, like it means something now. And so it's hard not to overthink it. I try to stay out of my own head, but it doesn't always go well for me and everything. Um, and I'll be trying to stay out of my head this week as I go up against Most Wanted, and I'm just gonna hope for Justin Jefferson to have a phenomenal game, but everybody else to just do absolute
absolutely terribly.
terrible,
Yeah,
and uh,
because
and
a
then
couple
and
of
then watch my
busts on
team
his
doing great.
team will,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You know what? Let's hope for Cooper Cup putting up a goose egg, and and maybe having a couple more goose eggs along the way. Maybe Los Angeles gives up like 40 points or something and has -4 points or whatnot to help me out. Who knows? But
yeah. I can't with Brentwood, I can't expect 84 to be the projected one going into the games because he has a running back that's out, so he's got to swap it out. But his
hmm,
other running backs are what does he have? He has Braylon Allen for the New York Jets,
yeah, Braylon Allen.
4 points, and then Kenneth Walker the third, who's projected at 12 points, almost 13 points, but he's also got questionable, so um, maybe not going out, but like
We'll know more
that would
closer.
always makes me nervous if they're questionable. Um, so, but he swaps out Kenneth Walker the third for was it Sean or Sincere McCormick.
Yep.
Swaps those guys out, then he'll be up another 12 points, which will put him at 96, 97 points. But
Which I'm sure he will.
I'm
So,
sure he will. Yeah, yeah.
yep.
But yeah, looking at it, like I think Brian Thomas Jr. is a safer bet than Chuba Hubbard,
I
and
would take him.
I didn't really want to pull out Judy or Jerry Judy or Nico Collins. So
Well, just remember, so Jerry Judy, they're playing Cincinnati. It's in Cincinnati. He's going to have a new quarterback this week. So
is it does
just
that make
keep
it more
that.
likely that he's going to do a little bit worse?
You'd have to go back and see how he did on Sunday because they benched Jameis Winston
Oh, this last
um,
week?
during the game and put in this other kid, Dorian Thompson Robinson, and now that kid's going to be the one starting this week. So you
16
have to.
points over projected 11.
So the big thing is you kind of got to look at the nuances of how he does. If he's still a main target and everything,
Mm-hmm.
then you're fine. But quarterbacks like different wide receivers usually. Um, Obviously, like if you're the clear cut number one or whatever on the team, they're still going to try to get you the ball or whatnot. It's
Mm-hmm.
just who do they feel most comfortable throwing to is the people that they're going to look to, um, is kind of how it works. So just to keep that in mind, I'm not giving you any advice. I just want you to
I'm gonna stick with what I'm
understand.
at. I feel good about it. I feel good.
Yeah, I'm not trying.
So
I'm not trying to like twist your arm, and be like, "Oh, do this, do this, do this."
yeah,
I just want you to understand, like Like this is why
Granted,
it's
I don't have any
important,
insight in any of the
and
players or any of that stuff, but
that's why it's
um,
important to kind of like know a little bit what's going on.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, besides that, I think you got a great looking lineup for the week and everything.
Pretty solid, yeah.
Um, we'll have to work out what we're gonna do next week because it's Christmas Eve, obviously on
Oh
Tuesday.
yeah, that's when we normally
Um,
record.
but we definitely want to be able to kind of get in something before championship week and all that. So, um, well, either then or right after Thursday or whatever. Maybe we'll be able to do something the day after Christmas.
What time
Um,
do games typically end on Mondays? That's like a seven, because that's like 7 to 9,
like
right?
no, it's like a 6:30 to 9:30 my time.
Okay, so that'd be like 10:30, so that wouldn't
Yeah.
quite work. Well, let's actually
So
hold on. Uh, I don't have any. All of mine are done on Sunday. What about for you? Sunday, Monday. Oh wait, you have a Monday. You have a guy on
yeah,
Monday.
yeah, your
Okay, so that's
matchup's done.
and Josh Jacobs is. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, Josh Jacobs is on yours. So you guys both have.
Monday
You guys both have a
Monday
Monday
night
game.
matchup.
So and it could very much come down to those running backs. Facing off against
But
each other. It could come
yeah,
down to one of your running back, like you guys could be like
who
really
whose
close,
running back
and
does
then one
better?
running back does way better than the other one, and it could
Yep.
completely flip the script. So we can't do an early call on
Well,
that one.
we'll work something out with that.
Yeah.
If we gotta do Thursday or something, that way, uh, even though that we got Christmas games next week, that'll start the week off. You know, Christmas on Wednesday, but I mean, diving in halfway in with games, kind of man, it's almost like every day of the week that week. You got Wednesday, you still got Thursday night football. I think you get a break Friday. Then you got games on Saturday, games on Sunday, games on Monday. So championship week will be crazy spread out and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But we will get back with everybody and see you guys next week to catch up on how round one of the playoffs went.
Yep.